סייבר, כאשת מקצוע, כאישה משכילה, פסיכולוגית.
That was Sara Netanyahu, or the most powerful hated woman in Israel. For those who may not know, Sara Netanyahu is the third wife of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. She's also the daughter of Shimon ben Arzi, a Polish-born Israeli Jewish educator, poet, and biblical scholar. Most importantly, she's a trained psychologist, and it's doubtful that anyone would want to hear her yell it out again. So where does the hate come from? Let's start from the beginning, shall we? So Benjamin and Sara got married in 1991. Who knows if it was love at first sight? But one thing's for sure, they make great partners in crime. Especially when it comes for witcher vow. Here's some of the ugly details. This is David Shimmerin, who happens to be Benjamin's cousin and former attorney. He reportedly drafted a 15-page secret agreement between Benjamin and Sara in the 1990s, granting her some interesting executive powers, like having a say in national matters, including veto power. The agreement was reportedly signed after Benjamin came clean about his 1993 sex tape affair he had with a staff member, during which Sara stood by his side. Thus, this perfect marriage was cemented through an agreement, one that Bibi called a gross lie, while Sara denied having any behind-the-scenes power. By the look of it, it is indeed a partnership that extends to crimes against humanity. But I will get to that later. Their bond was strengthened through one scandal after another. And in Sara's case, one temper tantrum after another. During Benjamin's first term as Israeli PM in the late 19s, Sara was accused of extravagant spending of state funds, something the couple remain accused of. She faces criminal charges for sneaking $100,000 in catered meals from expensive restaurants into the Prime Minister's residence, while covering up the fact that she had personal cooks on the government payroll. These charges might have triggered some anger in her. Just thinking out loud. So, in 2010, a housekeeper accused her of being abusive, and the case was settled out of court. In 2016, another former housekeeper filed a lawsuit and was awarded $47,000 in damages over workplace abuse. Sara? She was accused in a third case of abuse and threatening her staff and treating them like slaves. Seriously, Sara? One notable accusation involved a claim that she hits maids with shoes. I have nothing to say to you, Sara. Some people had worse to say on the matter. Sheldon Adelson, a prominent Zionist billionaire, called Sara Netanyahu completely crazy. His words, not mine. Whereas Israeli journalist Ben Caspit claimed in his book, The Netanyahu Years, that Sara has tendencies of psychopathy. She's the controller and he the controlled. Again, his words, not mine. In 2020, when thousands of Israelis were protesting against the Netanyahu government, Sara stepped in to make more friends, calling the protesters hooligans who snort some stuff in an interview. But here's where it gets even juicier. During Israel's ongoing war on Palestine's Gaza, Bibi and then opposition leader Benny Gantz were finalizing the formation of a national emergency government until Sara stepped in. She reportedly delayed the entire agreement because she didn't want Gantz in the coalition. Peace at home is peace in government, right? I guess. The hate for the Netanyahu family grew exponentially in March 2023, as thousands of Israelis were back on the streets, protesting against the government's plans to overhaul the country's judicial system. Sara was getting her hair done in a salon in Tel Aviv. The protesters were outraged and began to chant, "The country is on fire and Sara's getting a haircut." She had to be escorted away by the police, but thankfully, the protesters were most likely Jewish. So they were generally spared being labeled anti-Semitic because we're living in times when spilling the truth about anything Israeli related can lead you to be accused of anti-Semitism. Anyway, according to Sara, the media hides all the wonderful things that she does. But given what an exquisite career she's had, can she be called the most hated woman in Israel? Let's let Israelis decide.